Very good evening to everyone. I hope everybody can hear me. This is Kartika. I'm the Business Development Manager with CanApprove. And thank you everyone for connecting with us. I appreciate your interest with CanApprove. I can see a lot of participants for this webinar. On behalf of CanApprove team and management, I welcome you all for this wonderful webinar in this wonderful evening. Before we start, I would like to give a short introduction about CanApprove. You just saw the video, but still I would give a short introduction. CanApprove. CanApprove is a certified multinational immigration and education consultancy managed by highly experienced and professional lawyers with 12 offices spread across Canada, Australia, Quebec, UAE, and India. So CanApprove deals with immigration process to Canada, Australia, and Quebec, and also study visa process to almost all English-speaking countries and few European countries too. Most importantly, we are ICCRC and MAGA license holders. And that's a short introduction about CanApprove. For more details, you can visit our website. Without taking much of your time, let me introduce the speaker of this evening, and I'm glad and honored to introduce the President, Ms. Veronica Moe. She is a Canadian citizen, Canadian immigration consultant, regulated immigration consultant, and licensed education consultant. She is a graduate of University of British Columbia, which is a top university in Canada, and specialized in immigration laws and education process. We couldn't find anyone better to present this webinar on this particular topic. Over to you, ma'am. You can start.
Thank you, Kartika, for that lovely introduction. Hello, everybody. Have a good evening. It's my pleasure to be here with you all today, and thank you for joining us for this info session and webinar. I'm looking forward to explaining to you all the current state of immigration in Canada and answer any of your questions. So we have a little presentation, but mostly I will be talking and explaining what's going on. So bear with me and I will start the PowerPoint here. In the meantime, I will start by saying that right now the government of Canada is still processing all immigration applications. They have not shut down anything like that. It's continuing as normal, but of course it's a little bit slower than it was in the past because of the pandemic. Things are slowed down, but they are still accepting applications for all kinds of immigration. The only difference is that there are some travel restrictions when it comes time to arrive in Canada for those who are already in the process of applying for and getting approved for immigration. But for those who are just starting, like I imagine most of you today, there is no restriction or no difference than any time in the past. You can apply and it's the same process as before. You submit your expression of interest and then we would proceed from there, and the government is still inviting every couple of weeks. They're sending out many invitations to apply, and they are, sorry, I got the screen sharing now, so I'm setting that up as well. Is it appearing clearly for everybody? Let me see here. I think it's good now. Okay, so I will continue. As I was saying, IRCC is still accepting most permanent resident applications, but they are slowing down the processing because of the COVID. There is less people available to process, so things are a little slower. But they're still trying to process everything as quickly as possible, and they are still submitting invitations to apply every couple of weeks, including a couple of rounds that were general invitations for every category, not just provincial nominees or Canadian experience class, but broad invitations, because we still have our quotas for immigration for the year that we have to meet. So nothing has stopped, everything is going on as before. And if your application was already approved, but you haven't traveled to Canada yet, yeah, I was saying if your application was approved before March 18th, but you haven't traveled to Canada, you are exempt from any travel restrictions. And if you're approved, but your documents will be expiring before you're allowed to come to Canada because of the pandemic, you can explain to the government and they will extend everything. All of the systems and processes are being adjusted according to the pandemic. So deadlines are extended and things like that. And once it's possible for you to travel, you will inform immigration, and they will issue the new document for you or whatever is necessary at the time. Now, of course, because of the impact of the COVID, immigration applications are not being processed as quickly as before. And also, so this is for people who have their application in process already. If you are missing documents and they ask you, they will give you additional time for the missing documents, and they won't refuse or close any application because of documents that were not submitted in time. And also, if you're invited to apply, instead of the usual 30 days, they're giving you 90 days to submit your application. So a lot of improvements to the system to help people with the pandemic. And now let's talk a little bit about the current programs for immigration. The PNP programs are growing every year. They are one of the best ways for people who cannot get enough points through the Federal Skilled Worker Program. All of the provinces are submitting their own invitations to apply, and majority of them are not even requiring a job offer anymore like they used to. You can even find PNPs that are eligible without job offer and without ties to the province or anything like that. And it's always increasing. We anticipate even more of that in the coming year. So that is a very positive outlook. And as I mentioned before, there have been draws for the express entry and also for all the provincial nominations as well. Alberta province has had 6 selection draws, and their minimum score is only 300. So that's much easier to qualify compared to the federal. And Saskatchewan has done 2 monthly draws since the pandemic, for a total of 457 applications, and 7 draws in Prince Edward Island province, 2,800 applicants in 5 draws in Ontario, 2 in Nova Scotia. New Brunswick and Nova Scotia are also conducting information webinars, and IRCC has also has also done 5 special draws for the provincial nominee class and Canadian experience class. I believe it's 6 now, actually. And they've done, I believe, 2 draws that were for everybody. So during the pandemic, there have been 2 draws where people without Canadian experience or provincial nomination have been invited to apply. So things are still progressing, just a little slower than before. But that being said, still this year, Canada's plan is to welcome 341,000 new permanent residents. And that number will increase by 10,000 for 2021 and another 10,000 increase for 2022. Okay, so if you are sponsored by a spouse or family member who is living in Canada and you're concerned because they've lost their job and they are getting government assistance, the government assistance for this situation is called the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. It was implemented for this pandemic. And if you are getting that because you lost your job for the pandemic, it's not going to make you ineligible to sponsor. So if your spouse is trying to sponsor you and they're getting served, you can still apply and they can still sponsor you to immigrate. Now, I mentioned before about the travel restrictions. You can only travel to Canada if you are a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a person who is registered under the Canada's Indian Act. Also refugees and foreign nationals are also allowed now if they are immediate family member of a Canadian citizen and staying for at least 15 days. The reason for 15 days is because everybody, when they enter Canada, must be able to quarantine for 14 days. So if you're coming to Canada for less than 14 days, you cannot quarantine for 14 days, so they won't bother letting you enter, unless you're coming for an emergency reason, so if you're a family member, you don't have to come for emergency only anymore. It can be for any reason if you're a family member, but you have to stay for 15 days. Shorter trip is not allowed. But if you're coming for essential reason, then the duration is okay. They will allow you to come. International students too, of course, if your program is starting and cannot be done via distance learning, then you will be allowed. And your application was already approved for a study permit and all of that, then you can come as well. So there are lots of exceptions to the travel restrictions, but our consultants can discuss your case with you in specifics if you have any questions about that. I think that at this point, before we start the questions, I will open up the polling so you guys can give us your feedback, and then we will go into the Q&A period. So I will stop the video briefly, but I'm still here and just give you some time to answer the poll. Okay, everyone, I am back. I'm going to go through the questions now. Everyone's asked many questions in the Q&A. I will try to get through everything. So let's start here. Somebody is asking that they already enrolled in December and all the documents were submitted. However, the concern is with getting a job while they're still in their home country, because getting a job will help for some of the PNPs, as we mentioned before, but it's very difficult to find a job when you're not in Canada because the employers require Canadian experience and all of that. So their question is why we don't assist with that. Well, first of all, it's very difficult, foreign national, no matter your experience, to get a job offer from a Canadian employer when they don't have permission to work in Canada yet, because getting that permission takes time and employers are not often willing to do that. So it's very difficult for people to find a job before they get authorization to work, like by getting permanent residence. So that is one of the reasons. Another is that in Canada, to be an employment agent, to help employees and employers connect and find each other, you have to have a special license, and it's a whole other industry, another field than immigration. And it's, you do not charge the client, the employees, they are not your clients. It's the employers who are the clients of an employment agency. They pay the agent to find workers who are suitable for their job openings. They will not consider, those employment agencies do not consider people who are not authorized to work either. It's a catch-22, it's a vicious cycle, but this is the system that we have and that's what we work with. So that's why we cannot help you find a job. But as I mentioned earlier, PNPs are becoming more and more easy to approve even without a job offer. Many of the provinces have streams which don't require a job offer or connection to the province. And there is also still the federal program. If you haven't mentioned in your particular question whether your CRS score is very low or not, but if that is part of the issue and you're not getting invitations because your score is too low, you can always increase your language score or gain some more education or work experience. Our consultants will give you the best advice according to your case. In some cases, coming here with to do further education first, it can be a pathway to PR if straightforward PR doesn't work. But finding a job in Canada before immigrating is not a pathway. It's not an option. I know everybody asks for that. Everybody wants that guarantee that when they arrive here, they will find jobs. And that also, it helps with the immigration process. However, it's not something that can be done. It's not a realistic goal or request to make. So we help in ways that are possible. And if you see some agencies that offer you jobs, I would be very suspect, because a lot of times they are just trying, and especially if they're charging you a lot of money and offering something that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. It's not so easy to find. That being said, we are currently working with some staffing agencies here locally, and I'm trying to make some kind of arrangement because I understand how much our clients want to have some help with the job offer. So it's possible in the future we will be able to work on something and offer it. But I did explain all of the obstacles to an employer. If they want to hire someone, they need them now. They don't need them in months from now. So another reason why it's not appealing for them, but we will do what we can. And there are many other pathways to immigrate. Once you're here, once you have PR, the job market in Canada is pretty good. Unemployment is low, and demand depending on your occupation and where in Canada you live, it's a very big country, the job market can be suitable for you. And once you come here, you are free to live and work and study anywhere in Canada that you want. So finding a job once you're here will not be your main concern. it will be doable. So while you're not in Canada yet, your concern can be getting your immigration done. Then worry about finding a job here. We also offer settlement support services as an additional service once you are here. And that is where we can offer you guidance with the resume and everything like that, because then you are hireable and employable in Canada. You have PR. So if you would like that service, it is something that comes as part of our settlement support services, in addition to helping you with getting settled in Canada in general, finding a place to live, getting your banking, your social insurance number, all of that. But that's a whole separate service. And again, our consultants there, if you are interested, can talk to you about that service as well. Okay, someone's saying that they have a profile live with CRS of 428. How much time will it take for PNP with the NOC code 2171? It doesn't matter what your NOC code is. The only thing that matters is the CRS score. The NOC code, as long as you are, a skilled worker, you have skilled work experience, then your NOC is fine. There's no in-demand list or anything that makes it faster for some people or anything like that. As for 428, it's a little bit lower than the current federal cutoffs, and the PNPs, it's varies. Your score is good enough for some of the PNPs. Now, your question is how much time will it take? That, unfortunately, it's impossible for us to give you an answer. I can tell you federal usually draws every 2 weeks. Provinces, it varies considerably. They do it whenever they want, whenever they need, and it suits them. We cannot predict, or we have no data about when the next ones will be. That being said, it's also not about how often they do the draw, it's about your score. And your score is what will determine if you will get accepted or not. If you have a higher score than the cutoff, very next draw after you submit your invitation, your expression of interest, you will get invited. If you have a score of 450, 460, almost every draw you would be invited. If your score is under 400, you can wait 1 year and not get anything, under 300, sorry. And if it's somewhere between 300 and 450, eventually you have a chance. Some province will invite. All we can do is make sure that you are submitted for every province and every application, every program that you're eligible. We guide you how to improve your score, take a second language test or anything like that to increase your score. And we work with that until you get your invitation. And your expression of interest stays in the pool for 1 year. And if it's expired after 1 year, we will resubmit it for you. It's no problem. And you can stay in the pool until eventually you get an invitation, and by trying to increase your score. It's not up to us to make the decision on who gets the invitation or not. Otherwise, all our clients would be invited immediately. What we can do is just guide you on how to increase your chances. Okay, the next question here, someone says that they have done MBA part-time. According to WES, will it be considered master's or bachelor? That's a good question. That's up to WES to decide. It depends on your school, and they ask for your transcript and everything because they have to see what kind of courses you took and what is the program, and is it equivalent to a master's in Canada or to a bachelor. I don't know the details of your program, and even if I did, it's not my area to assess your education. We just guide you how to submit that all to WES. They will tell you, and you have to do that before you can even submit anything else. So it's a good idea to get your credentials assessed as soon as possible. Now, if you have any friends or connections who went to the same school and they already got their assessment, then you have a good idea what your assessment will be in case you're concerned about your points and what you want to know as soon as possible. And if you told us specific program with our consultants, they can cross-check with previous clients. If they have the answer, we would be happy to give you a prediction of your assessment, but it's up to WES in the end to do the assessment. So your only way to know for sure is to submit the application and they will assess you. Next question. My CRS score is 449. Will I get an invitation with this score? My NOC is 1311. It's in the banned list of PNPs. 449 is a very good score. There have been federal draws even recently that have been below that score. And if not, then one of the PNPs will surely invite you. I don't know when you submitted your expression of interest, but I think at 4:49 you have a very good chance. So you just have to be patient, hang in there, Sanup, and you will get your invitation eventually. Someone says that they are a lawyer and they want to know if I suggest immigration via PNP or express entry. Well, how it works is we submit it for everything that you're eligible. You don't have to choose one or another. Most of the provincial nominee programs, the expression of interest is the same one that you submit to the federal. There's a page in the application. They ask you what provinces are you considering to settle in. And of course, we discuss with the client, but if the client has no objection, we select every province because that increases your chances that one of those provinces will invite you. Because most of the provinces, that is how they get their pool from everyone who submitted the federal expression of interest and selected their province as one of the provinces they're interested. So that's it, you're already there. Now, in your individual case, if you happen to be eligible for a PNP and that PNP does not draw from the same pool as the federal, they have their own expression of interest, then our consultants will tell you this and we will submit a separate application for both, and they will discuss with you about the process and what is your best options case by case. It's not only about the fact that you're a lawyer, it's more about your age and your work experience, so the things that affect your actual score more than your occupation. And I don't know your actual score, but again, our consultants are available to you. We can set up consultations, no obligation, to find out to assess you and advise you on your best path. But as a general rule, you don't have to choose between federal or provincial. We apply for everything that you're eligible. And the first one to select you is the one that you will go with. Or if you get more than one, you can choose, of course. When will they start conducting regular FSW draws? They've already done a couple, not granted as much as they did before. They're doing draws that are focused a little bit more on people who are already in Canada working or things like that. But even with the pandemic, they have not stopped completely. They are still doing regular FSW draws. There's been at least 2. And I'm sure they're going to continue. They're going to increase because the pandemic is going to eventually calm down. But to give you any more specific data or a date about when the next draw that will have FSW is, unfortunately, I can't say. They're doing them still, so it's not stopped really. Okay, someone just said, hello, next one, my score is 379. That's not bad, but it's not great. Again, if you speak to our consultants, they can advise you if you have any easy way to improve your score or what your options are. Someone is asking, they're a lawyer, and if they clear their NCA exam, will it increase their CRS score? I don't know what the NCA exam is, I'm sorry, but if it increases your education level, then yes. Otherwise, no. And I don't think, it doesn't sound like something that increases your points for your education or anything like that. So no, I don't believe that would affect your. Again, our consultants there, where for individual questions like that, one-on-one consultation is probably your best bet. CanApprove's consultants are top-notch, and they will happily answer all your questions. What are the criteria for getting selected in PNP programs? Do you like to know about the selection process? This is Pulse. The criteria, we have 10 different provinces, and so there's 10 different programs, and each program has 2, 3, 4 different streams or categories within it for different kinds of people. So it's a little bit difficult to summarize the criteria, but in general, your language skills, your education, and your work experience are always going to be the factors that the provinces will look at, much like with the federal government. And the selection process, as I said before, for most provinces, is the same process. You just submit the federal expression of interest, and you select the provinces you're also interested in. Then the province will receive your expression of interest too, and you will be in the pool, both for federal skilled worker and for provincial nominee programs that you're eligible for. And then when they do a draw, if you are in the pool and you are meeting their requirements for that draw, you get an invitation to apply, and then you have a certain amount of time to submit your full application. And federally, it's taking about 6 months to process. Although, again, because of COVID, processing times have probably become longer. It's hard to say because no applications, it's barely been 6 months since the beginning of the COVID in March. So, it's the data is not really there, but it has slowed down. They haven't admitted that much. Okay, next person is asking the difference between express entry and PNP. I think I've already explained that, but just in case it's not clear, express entry is the name of the federal application system, which allows people to submit an expression of interest and be put into a pool with everyone else who is interested. And every couple of weeks, the federal government submits invitations to apply to everyone whose score is higher than the cutoff that week. PNPs are the provincial programs. Each province can also select their own immigrants. And in addition to the federal skilled worker and other federal programs, there's the provincial nomination process. And they, as I explained already, will select from the same pool of candidates, but they have their own criteria based on the needs of the province at the time. Pardon me, I'm just reading the questions and finding the good ones to answer. Someone is asking why information webinar session was not conducted in India. I believe we have seminars in India all the time, and I've even been there myself and done some webinars, I keep saying webinar, done some in-person seminars in India, but I live in Vancouver, Canada. And so the clients in India wanted to hear from me as well, since I am the licensed immigration consultant and the Canadian expert here. So I offered the webinar like this because of the pandemic and because travel is difficult. We're doing it this way. I think I understood your question. If not, please feel free to reiterate it. So Mitra is saying they have yet to give their IELTS, have part-time work experience 3 years. What is the chance of getting once to complete all the necessary documents? I'm sorry, Mitra, I can't really answer the question because I don't know your CRS score, I don't know your age, your education, all of that stuff. But our consultants, Canaproof consultants there can answer all your questions and assess you individually. So I suggest you set up a chance to speak one-on-one with one of our consultants and they can answer your individual case questions. Sandhya asks, she's applied to the SINP, which is the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. Score is 61. Is there any hope for acquiring PR? Also, is it possible to get a job offer from any province? I think I've already addressed most of that question, and I think the SINP the cutoff score is higher than 61. So you'd have to speak to your consultant to get because I don't know the details of your case. Again, I can't really answer these case-specific questions without more details. And also, this is a more general webinar. Everyone else is listening to these answers too. So I try not to bore everyone with getting too specific to any one person's case. I'm trying to answer more general questions here. Our consultants there can happily answer more specific questions after the webinar is over. You can arrange some one-on-one consultations, or in case of clients already existing, you can message us for more updates if that's what you're asking. Considering the current pandemic situation, what are the jobs that are highly in demand and how is the job market presently? I touched a little bit before on this, but to be perfectly honest, I am not a recruitment agent. I'm not an employment expert. So it's very difficult for me to answer such a broad question. Generally, the job market is good in Canada. Our unemployment is low. It's a big country, but our population is not very big. So there's always room for more people. But like what jobs are more in demand, it depends on where you're settling. Each region is different. And I'm not an expert on job market. I'm an expert on immigration procedures. So all these questions about jobs are a little bit, to be honest, difficult for me to give a good solid answer to, because it's not my my area of expertise. But I can tell you that in general, your job market prospects are much better here than many other places. That much I can tell you. Someone's saying, what is my take on the CRS score? Can we expect the cutoff to come down the rest of the year? I think it's going to stay approximately where it is for a little bit longer until the pandemic is happening. I don't think that they're going to suddenly drop the CRS scores too low. Once the pandemic is improving, then I think if they haven't met the criteria for the year or for next year, they will certainly drop the CRS score to catch up when things are over. So my answer is basically, this is only prediction. It's not anything that I know for a fact, but the CRS score will stay approximately where it is and maybe go down a bit until the pandemic is over or completely under control. And that at that time, which I expect will be early next year, we will start to see the CRS score drop dramatically later this year or early next year. That's when it might happen. What's the success ratio with CanApprove regardless of Express and PNP? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Our success rate, if that's what you mean, or is it which one is more successful? Our success rate is quite good. I don't have the exact numbers, I'm sorry, but our consultants there can answer the question maybe after. But if you're asking about the ratio between, maybe I'll let someone else address because I'm not quite clear on the question. I'm seeing a lot of the same questions being repeated or questions I think I've already answered. So sorry for the delays. I'm just reading through to find good questions for you. All right, as I mentioned, I'm seeing a lot of very specific case questions, and those are difficult to answer in this public setting. So I think your best bet is to discuss one-on-one with one of our consultants. And if you really want, we can also make an appointment to have a one-on-one consultation with me. We can arrange that through my staff there after the fact. But this is not the time for these very personal questions. Does it make a difference to do educational equivalency by WES or ICES, ICAQ or others? Sometimes it does, depending on your field. There are some fields that WS will give a better assessment than another one, or is more suitable, or understands it better. It really depends on what your field of education was, what school you went to, things like that. Our consultants can, again, guide you on that more in detail, but it can make a difference, yes. Someone asking to explain the difference between PNP and Express Entry. I believe I did that already. Oh, good. Congratulations, Steffi. They have received ITA, invitation to apply, and they've applied for processing January 13th. Okay, the 6 months is over. They've raised notes. Eligibility secured, security not started, medical passed, info sharing. How long the process will be delayed? Of course, it's impossible to predict right now, but you're in really good hands. This is good. You've passed the hardest part. You've got the invitation to apply and you've submitted your application. That's great. Now you've already met the eligibility and passed the medical. They're just waiting to do the police clearances and do a background check on you. It shouldn't take too much longer. Normally, it means any minute now. But because of the pandemic, I can't promise that with the same confidence I would under normal circumstances. Things are a little bit slower now, but you're at the finish line. You're almost there. So just hang in there, and very soon you'll get your PR. Okay, someone is asking, Reno, saying that their score is 445 and registered in Express Entry, but the cutoffs are higher so far than their score, so they're considering study visa. Was my opinion. I don't know your specifics. Generally, that is one of the options for people who are not getting a high enough score. But two things. 445 is not a very low score. It's just a little too low. So there might be other ways that you can improve your score, or just waiting can allow that score to be invited in the near future. We have seen invitations for scores below that in the past. It's not unheard of. But study permit can be an option if it suits your case. I don't know your specifics, but if your gap since you finished school isn't too long and you have what can be convincing as a valid reason to pursue further education, because they want to make sure you're a genuine student when you apply for a study permit. So if, in your case, if it makes sense for you, then it could be an option. Could be, because I don't know your specifics. But again, consultants there can advise you, but it can often be a pathway. If you take the right program, you can get up to 2 years postgraduate work permit, which means you can gain some Canadian work experience and the Canadian education that you gained. All of this will improve your chances to apply for PR. Not just improve, but basically it's a guaranteed pathway. So if it's a suitable option for you, then it definitely is a path that can be done. Invitations are based on CRS score, not NOC, Vishnu asked. Invitation points are 65 right now, CRS. 65, I think, is just a couple of points too low still for Saskatchewan. I think the last cutoff was 69. So if you can try to increase your score, or maybe a different province might invite you. Some provinces have invited CRS score 300 or higher, so you are still eligible. You were asking about job offers. I already addressed that we don't do this. Someone is asking if it's okay to opt for study visa when their profile is in the express entry pool. Absolutely. Your profile being submitted for consideration to immigrate does not mean you can't also come as a temporary resident for a study permit. You're absolutely allowed to do. And no, it does not affect your chances at all to get PR. But actually, sir, if you came with a study visa and you studied here, eventually your points will increase, and eventually you might get postgraduate work permit. Those things will improve your chances to apply for PR. But getting a study visa itself does not affect your PR application negatively or positively, just by itself. But the outcome in the future can be a path to permanent residency. I applied EE and SINP during January. CRS is 382. I'm seeing a similar question constantly about SINP. If your score is below the cutoff score, then your score is below the cutoff score. You're not eligible. Or if it goes down, the cutoff score goes down, or your score goes up, then you will get invitation. If not, you won't. So everyone asking multiple times, many people asking about SINP. Same thing, score 60 or 62 or 65. If it's not the cutoff, and whether the occupation is in demand. I think I will also ask one of the other consultants who is maybe able to address your specific questions about SINP. I'm seeing a lot of them. They can perhaps come up and address that after. Someone is asking, Manu is asking if age and score is interrelated. Yes, your age affects your score. If you're too young or too old, you start to lose points, mostly as you get too old. So it's part of your score, yes. Civil engineer with a score of 400, is it possible to get into Canada? Yes, definitely it's possible. Tajudeen is asking if we can expect more webinars like this in the future. If it's something that you guys are enjoying and you would like to hear more, I am happy to do this on a regular basis. We can certainly do that again, absolutely. Most of them I've already kind of explained the answer. Same questions again and again. So, but I don't want to miss anything. So bear with me as I read everything here. Someone asked, will I get ITA in Express Entry Pool if I'm maintaining my profile while studying in Canada? Yes, sure. You can get your ITA while you're studying in Canada, as long as your score is good enough. Please tell us about dependent after getting PR. Normally, we recommend for most people to simply include all of their dependents as accompanying dependents on their immigration application when they get PR. So your whole family gets it together. If for any reason they can't, they still have to be included on the application because they still have to be checked for admissibility because you can sponsor them in the future. So if they are not admissible because of any criminal or medical reason, you won't be admissible either. So you have to include them on your application as non-accompanying dependent. If you don't do that, you are giving up the right to ever sponsor them in the future. So now I'm not sure you're asking me to tell you about getting dependents after getting PR. So that would be the sponsorship process. If for any reason you didn't include them as accompanying dependents, you only included them as non-accompanying dependents, and now you're a PR and you want to sponsor them, we can help with that process. You have to usually show that you have enough funds and show the relationship to the person you're sponsoring. Their requirements will be much lower. There's no point system or anything like that because they're dependent of a permanent resident. So they're automatically eligible. It's just going through the process. Mohammed asks if it will help boost chances if you manage to get an offer letter from a Canadian company. Not just a letter, but if it's an actual arranged employment offer, which has been approved by the government, then yes. But the employer has to get approval for the job offer. Then it can count, and you will get so many points for that, that almost guaranteed you get an invitation to apply. So job offers can definitely boost your chances. Okay, someone's asking about if they're nominated under PNP once they create profile or before creating. It's once you've created the profile. PNP will nominate you. If you're in the express entry pool, you've created your profile and you meet the requirements for that draw for that province, you will get an invitation to apply. When you get that invitation, that puts 600 more points in your CRS score. And then that's not when you get the invitation. When you get the nomination for the province, you get the 600 points on your CRS score, which then allows the federal government to invite you to apply for permanent residence, because the province nominates you, but only federal can give you PR. So it's a two-step process. But yeah, I think that's it. Someone's asking if I answer all questions or random questions. I am skipping a few of them because they are repeat question I've already explained, like about jobs. So many people are asking about what are their chances with the score they have, or what is the job market for their job. Those are not questions that I am answering, so I'm skipping some of those. But I'm answering questions which everybody will benefit from the answer, not just the person who asked. If that makes sense. Uma says they already have profile for 7 months as a nurse with more than 5 years, but their CRS is 307. How long do I have to wait for a notification from any province? You have to wait until their CRS cutoff is below yours, or they're inviting nurses or something. There's no processing time and no deadline, no time frame we can give you. It's a very responsive and flexible system. It's not just pass or fail, first come, first serve, like the old system we had a few years ago. It changed. So because of that, in the past, you knew it was going to take 3 years or 5 years, but eventually you would get it. Now it's not first come, first serve. It's the best people, the highest scores every round. So if your score is too low, sometimes you can stay there for a year and never get an invitation. If that's the case in yours, your score at 307 is not super high, I have to say. So if you can take another IELTS and increase your IELTS score, or do something else to improve your score, or come with a study permit or anything like that, your chances will be better. Sitting with a 307, you can be waiting for a long time, I will be honest. Someone is asking about the possibility of coming for dependent visa. Yes, if they're saying that they would send their wife on a study and join for dependent visa, that is totally possible, yes. If your wife studying as their spouse, you would get open work permit. So you can also come to Canada with your wife, and you can get a job while she studies. And you can both live here. If you have children, they can come too. Then when your wife applies for PR, you would be included on her application as her dependent. So that's definitely something we can help you with, for sure. Oh, someone's saying that if they include somebody as accompanying dependent and then the person cannot come, you have to inform immigration as soon as possible. Then they will change the status to not accompanying dependent, and they won't issue them a visa. If their visa is already issued and they can't use it during the pandemic, they can probably get an extension. Normally, once you get the visa for permanent residence, there's no extension, but the pandemic is changing things. Someone's saying they're 41 and have 19 years work experience. Will I get work permit in Canada? To get a work permit in Canada, you have to have a job offer. And then the employer has to apply to have permission to hire a foreign worker and get labor market impact assessment. And then you can get the work permit. Do you have a job offer? Are you looking? Because without that, work permits are not something that we are eligible for. The same person then asks about IELTS and again about work permit. I'm not sure why you're asking about work permits. That's not, do you mean express entry or PR? And this is Belmurugan. Last question, does postgraduates in geology have scope in Canada? Again, all of these, so many questions asking about scope of any specific field of education or work experience or NOC code. Canada is a huge country. Every region has a very unique market, very unique jobs, opportunities, and it's different. But because it's so big, there will be opportunities somewhere in the country for almost any job that you might have. If you're looking for your chances of employment, they're much higher and much better than many other places. I can tell you that much, even with the pandemic. Of course, the pandemic, though, is affecting certain fields a lot more than others. Some fields or jobs are even more in demand, mostly service jobs, nurses, things like that, I'm sure are high in demand because it's a pandemic. The healthcare system is being tested and pushed to its limits. So I'm sure we need more healthcare professionals. We need service workers, people to do deliveries, to work in retail, things like that, definitely. Other fields, whether you're engineer or lawyer, those fields almost always have good opportunity. Well, lawyer, of course, you have to get training to Canadian law, but and doctors have to be trained, and have a matching credentials in Canada. But in general, Canada is a land of opportunity, and it's a huge country with a small population, and lots of places where you can get what you want in life here. And that's why everyone wants to immigrate here, and that's why it's such a wonderful place. So it's hard to answer those specific questions about the scope of job opportunities for this field or that field. But in general, you will not regret your decision. I've never met anyone who immigrated from India or any other place to Canada and then said, oh, I wish I had stayed home. Not once. It's a much better, much more opportunities here, and quality of life is better for the majority of people here compared to many other countries. So I don't think you will regret coming here. So I think that's it for the questions. I will stay here for a few more minutes, but I think we can wrap up now. I'm going to shut the video off, but I'm still here.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that wonderful session. I think most of your questions are answered. And if you want more questions to be answered, please connect to our branch offices, and our consultants will help you in all your queries. Thank you for your patience and cooperation. And as soon as we end the webinar, there will be a survey link appeared on the screen. Please click the link and give a feedback of this webinar. Your feedback is much valued and appreciated to improve us for the next time. Thank you so much.
I'm Rayis Nishant from Trivandrum. I'm here today to speak to you a bit about my Canada PR application process with Canapro Consulting Services Cochin. I'm sitting here with a lot of happiness. Today I came here to Canapro to collect my passports. There's a correction, the stamp passports, right, with confirmation of permanent residence, the visa stamp. So months of waiting have finally come to an end. So yeah, I'm flying with family next month. So I just want to relate a bit to the Canapro experience I had, because I thought all of you should know, the experience a lot of immigrants like us went through. So at the outset, I can say it was a very, very happy experience I had with Canapro. Exactly a year ago, a couple of my friends who is already in Canada now recommended to me Canapro. But to be honest, I was a bit reluctant initially to trust any agency in particular. So as like all of you, I had gone for a detailed review with a lot of agencies, followed up with multiple agencies in and around Cochin, Kerala. The first impression counts, and I was very much surprised by the kind of professional approach they had. Since then, it was a smooth ride. So first thing, I want to share a couple of few experiences from my heart. One is regarding the documentation, because I was very skeptical. I was very, I would say afraid initially with the documentation, because I had multiple visa rejections in the past. I had a Canada visit visa rejection. It was a tourist visa in 2013. I had a US visit visa rejection again in 2011. So this multiple rejections was on the back of my mind every time. And but when I told this to the consultancy, the Canapro team was very much confident. They said, go through this proper documentation, they will take care of it. So I made a lot of errors, even filling the form with the help of the consultancy. So you can imagine if I had gone alone, what would have been the case. But they were very patient. The team led by Surya again was very patient with me. They corrected all the mistakes. The form filling, everything was taken perfectly into confidence, and they had the time for me. I got my PR in like 5 months' time. The application was submitted on August 11th, and with God's grace, I got the PR in mid-Jan. So very accountable, very reliable, and today as I speak to you, you have seen, I mean, how happy I am because this comes from my heart. I don't have any negatives as to say about this agency as such because they have done everything particularly exceedingly expectations. So I would highly recommend CanApprove as a consulting agency, as a professional team for you guys to apply with because you just take care of your exams, your IELTS or experience, whatever it is, the rest, professional documentation, application process end to end, I think you should leave it to them, they know best. So highly recommended, and I have already recommended a couple of my friends to this agency and their PR process is midway. Thank you. All the best.
എൻ്റെ പേര് ജിഫിൻ എന്നാണ്. ഞാൻ കൊച്ചിയിൽ നിന്നാണ് വരുന്നത്. 2.5 വർഷം മുമ്പ് ഞാൻ PR അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു വേറൊരു കൺസൾട്ടൻസി വഴി. പക്ഷേ അത് ഡിലേ ആവുന്തോറും അത് കിട്ടില്ല എന്നുള്ളൊരു ഇതിലോട്ട് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലായി. അപ്പം അതിനുവേണ്ടി നിൽക്കാതെ ഞാൻ എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ട് വഴി, ഞാൻ റിയാദിൽ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് എൻ്റെ ഒരു ഫ്രണ്ട് വഴി ആണ് CanApproveനെ പറ്റി ആദ്യമായിട്ട് കേൾക്കുന്നത്. എല്ലാം ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു തന്നു. അതിന് ഞാൻ ഇതിനു മുന്നേ ഒരുപാട് കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു ഈ സെയിം സ്റ്റഡി വിസയുടെ കാര്യം ആലോചിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് തന്നെ. പക്ഷേ ഒട്ടുമിക്ക കൺസൾട്ടൻസികളും പറഞ്ഞത് 6 ഇയേഴ്സ് ഗ്യാപ്പിൻ്റെ മുകളിലായതുകൊണ്ട് എനിക്ക് കിട്ടില്ലെന്നാണ്, എലിജിബിൾ അല്ല എന്നാണ് അറിയിച്ചത്. ഞാൻ കാനഡയിലുള്ള ഒരു കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ വരെയും കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ എനിക്ക് ഒരു കോളേജിലും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയിലും എനിക്ക് അഡ്മിഷൻ കിട്ടില്ലെന്നാണ് കേട്ടത്. പക്ഷേ CanApproveനെ വിളിച്ച് ഇവരെ കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ കോൺടാക്ട് ചെയ്തത് എൻ്റയർലി ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു. അവരുടെ അപ്രോച്ച് എല്ലാം എൻ്റയർലി ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആയിരുന്നു. എന്നെ മോട്ടിവേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു, കിട്ടാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, നമുക്കൊന്ന് ട്രൈ ചെയ്യാമെന്നെങ്കിലും അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് പറഞ്ഞു. വിതിൻ 2 ഡേയ്സ് ആയില്ല, 1 ഡേക്കുള്ളിൽ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് എല്ലാ കോഴ്സിൻ്റെ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും എനിക്ക് അഞ്ചു അയച്ചു തന്നു. എനിക്ക് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ വർക്കിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ എനിക്കിതൊന്നും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ലായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ ഒന്നും നോക്കേണ്ടി വന്നില്ല, എല്ലാം ഇവർ തന്നെ എനിക്ക് ചെയ്തു തന്നു. അപ്പം ആരെങ്കിലും സ്റ്റഡി വിസയ്ക്ക് നോക്കുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വേറെ ഒരു കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ അപ്രോച്ച് ചെയ്യേണ്ട. കാരണം ഞാൻ ഒരുപാട് കൺസൾട്ടൻസിനെ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്, എനിക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആണ് ഞാൻ ആ കാര്യത്തിൽ. അപ്പം ഞാൻ കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി ഈ CanApproveനെ സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. എനിക്കിത് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്ത് വിസയ്ക്ക് അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്ത് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു 9 ദിവസം കറക്റ്റ് എക്സാക്ട്ലി പറഞ്ഞാൽ 9 ഡേയ്സ് എടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളൂ. 9 ഡേയ്സിനുള്ളിൽ എൻ്റെ എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും റെഡിയായി, വിസ അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്ത് കിട്ടി. ഇപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ എനിക്ക് വിസ ഓൾറെഡി അപ്രൂവ്ഡ് ആണ്, സ്റ്റാമ്പ് ചെയ്ത് എനിക്കിത് ഇന്ന് കിട്ടി കയ്യിൽ. അപ്പം താങ്ക് യു CanApprove for helping me out in this.
Hi, I'm Devika. Finally, we got our stamp, visa stamp passports. Huge thanks to CanApprove, I should say, because when we came here, obviously we have approached multiple consultancies before, and never we got this confidence level. They were the people who has helped us to achieve our dream. And I know, I can say that the bestest place where one wants to pursue your dream come true, I think you can straightforward go with CanApprove. And as you said, it was a 10-month journey and it went very well, very smooth, without any headaches. And one more thing I have to say is there was less headache from our side. Because every headache, every procedures, every documentation, every things were taken care very much and very user friendly, I should say. So
because we people are working and we never had any time to get into these procedures and how to prepare for the conversation. So they only put us on daily basis.
And also the patience level, I should say, because we had many doubts which were stupid, but then still they took their time and they helped us. They clarified it, and altogether we should say that CanApprove. Thanks a lot.
Was taken care of our legal procedures for getting our e-rejection.
So we are flying soon.
Yes, this is our stamp visa.
Again and again we are happy.
So as Pratibha said, we came to CanApprove to inquire about the process in the month of March, and we started the process at the same time itself, and first it was the education qualification verification process, and it takes about a month. So in the meantime, I was able to prepare for my IELTS, and I'm happy that I got a score of 8, which really boosted my CRS. And our profile was submitted in the pool for the invitation in the month of June. We were able to get the invitation the same month. We were only in the pool for about a week or so. In the very next draw, we got our invitation. And after we got the invitation, it was the documentation process, where we had to submit all our documents, and it was verified very nicely by the CanApprove team, so that there is no mistakes during in the submission of the documents. And in 3 or 4 months, I guess, our background check was complete, and now we got our visa stamped in the passports. So we really like to thank the whole CanApprove team.
Thank you, CanApprove, because I don't think we would have made this so quick without you in the documentation process. So it was really helpful. The rest you can anybody can do, but the documentation part was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Krishnan Mani. I'm from Cochin, Kerala. I applied for the Canadian Permanent Residence Visa application through CanApprove Cochin office. I should say that the services were of extremely high standard and very high quality. I should say that the staff and the entire team of CanApprove, not just the Cochin office, but throughout the Thrissur office and Coimbatore office, were extremely helpful in providing all the information and all the guidance and support for me in successfully completing the application process and procedures. CanApprove was actually recommended to me by my friends who had applied for the Canadian Permanent Residence Visa through CanApprove Cochin office. They were extremely impressed by the services provided by the staff and the entire team. That's how my parents approached CanApprove Cochin office, and they were very pleased in meeting the branch manager, Rakhi. She was extremely helpful and very kind to my parents and provided all the necessary guidance and information in helping me apply for my Canadian permanent residence. The documentation process, which is extremely stressful, and it's very lengthy, and it can be quite frustrating at times, but then CanApprove staff made it extremely easy, and they guided me in each and every stage, be it with the IELTS, required IELTS score, ETEF score, that's the French exam that I took, and even with the WES formalities, with the work experience certificates, and with each and every bit of documentation that is required in order to finally submit my application. Everything was done so perfectly by the CanApprove Cochin staff, in collaboration with the CanApprove Thrissur staff as well. That is why I chose CanApprove services, and I am extremely happy with the entire service provided by CanApprove Cochin office and Thrissur office, along with the Coimbatore office as well. So, having said this, I'm extremely happy to show you and to let you all know that with the guidance of the entire CanApprove staff, I have successfully received my Canadian permanent residence visa.
Okay, my name is Meera. I'm coming from Chalakudy, Thrissur district. I have been searching for a lot of consultancy here in Thrissur, and I had a huge list, and then with the reviews and all, I consulted CanApprove. It is in Thrissur. I got my visa for September intake and applied for September itself. And then Vani, she was in visa documentation team. visa submission team. There she had helped a lot. And the special thing I liked about CanApprove is that whenever I called them, they were always on call to attend, and with a smiling face. Like they were never troubled. Like I had troubled them a lot, but then they never showed that they are irritated or something like that. They were like always helpful for everything, supported and guided me. And by July 20th, I got my visa in hand after stamping. I'm really happy to choose as to go to Canada, and CanApprove helped me a lot. Thank you.